the Let's Go Racing Family Podcast, sharing our love for NASCAR, running, and just racing through life.
Hosted by Sebastian, Giovanni, Karen, Tony, and me, Johan.
Each week we'll talk about our view of the world through the lens of racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Let's Go Racing Family Podcast. This week we are going to be talking about the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona, which was a very exciting race. In fact, we got to go, which we're also going to be talking about our own experiences at the race, as well as getting our race picks done for the upcoming race at Darlington.
The Cookout Southern 500.
So to begin things, last Saturday was the Daytona race. It was the final race of the regular season. And I gotta say, this race was a lot of fun and crazy.
Yeah, it definitely did not disappoint. I was very worried going into Daytona because anything can happen at Daytona. And as we saw in February at the Daytona 500, we lost a bunch of cars early on in the race with a wreck. And so I was hoping that we would have a better race, and we did. It was a very exciting race. There was a lot of competitive driving and different people moving up. So it was a really exciting race to watch, especially to be present for.
And as you guys know, we're going to talk not only about the race, but we're going to talk about our experience there, which made it even more memorable. But before we do that, why don't one of you guys take us through the highlights of the race, and then we can get into some of the storylines.
So, the race is pretty interesting, but I think we have to talk about the few dominant cars in the race. First of all, the most dominant car, who led 37 laps for 5 times, was Joey Logano. In fact, he won stage 2 and actually almost won the first one, but Chase Elliott ended up winning that, which he got the second most led laps. He was probably the second most dominant car in the race.
Speaking of being a dominant car, I was extremely impressed. I mean, obviously, Joey is a great driver, so it's not something that is like out of the blue, but just to show how dominant he was. At the beginning of stage 2, he was penalized because his team was penalized for throwing equipment, and so he had to start at the rear, and he drove all the way up to obviously win stage 2. So clearly dominant, excellent driver, dominant driver, very good behind the wheel.
So, with Chase Elliott winning stage 1 and Joey Logano winning stage 2, the race got really intense in stage 3. After one caution in stage 2, there were multiple wrecks in stage 3, and it felt like deja vu because Ryan Blaney was the driver leading late in the race, and he ended up taking home the win in a crazy final 3 laps plus overtime.
Yeah, you just got to be in the right place at the right time, and that's what he's been doing the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so basically what happened, I'm going to talk about the second to last wreck and then the final lap crash. Oh, and then, of course, before that. So before, there was a Martin Truex Jr. crash where he wrecked and then got into Reddick. Reddick was like smoking, and that was very bad. And then before that, now this is a bit of a controversy. So Chase is leading. Here comes Matty D. Matty D is in a must-win situation trying to make the playoffs. So he tries getting the lead. Hamlin pushes him. Chase tries to block. He turns him into the wall. And then the field just goes kablooey from there. So did Chase wreck the field or did Matty D wreck the field?
First, who's to blame?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why don't you go first since you started us down this path?
All right, so let's go, Matty D. He got the blame. Chase Elliott was just racing. He's trying to win at Daytona. It's Daytona. Win at Daytona special. And honestly, so he wanted to win, but Matty D decided to wreck the whole field.
So, Sebastian, I see you shaking your head no. I take it you don't agree.
No, Chase Elliott is the one to blame for this. Matt DiBenedetto, A, he had a run, and 2, he was being pushed in the back by Denny Hamlin. There was no way he was going to slow down and move out the way. So Chase Elliott had 2 options. He could have, A, moved down and let DiBenedetto pass and then take advantage later and pass him again, or try to block him. He decided to go with the latter and cost him the race.
Gio?
I have to agree with Sebastian there. It was Chase Elliott's fault for the wreck. Matty D, he was trying to race clean, and Elliott ended up blocking, which blocking is something that drivers normally do. Even Joey Logano does it. Kyle Busch, any smart driver blocks, but I think Chase Elliott was just a little bit too aggressive, and also after he had taken himself out and Matty D, you could almost see he was kind of like pinning Matty D against the wall to like hold him up. And I think that's just a little bit excessive, and it kind of shows Chase Elliott may not be the nicest of guys when he gets taken out in Daytona, even though he has multiple wins this season, mind you.
He's mad. He's hungry. He's hungry.
I don't know what race you were watching, but I cannot. Although, let's say this. Let's clarify for our audience. You are like the biggest Joey Logano fan, and Chase and Joey are a little bit of
like him.
rivals. So let's just say that there might be a little bit of a bias. But no, I do not think that Chase Elliott, had done that to Matty D. And honestly, we all know that Matty D was very aggressive because he wanted to win. And so I feel like he knew this was a shot to get to the playoffs. And you know what? I don't know. I side with Johan.
I completely disagree with you because Matty D had a run. He had a run, and you can clearly see that Chase Elliott went in and blocked him. He threw the block, and he was being put. He had a run because Hamlin was pushing him. So you can't say that it was Matty D's fault when Matty D got blocked, and then they got together, and then like Gio said, Chase Elliott was like shoving him into the wall. It's not like they even bounced off of each other. He like literally pinned him on the wall, and they just kept riding the wall all the way. So no, I'm sorry. This is a Chase. Chase is to blame for this one.
Okay, on the riding on the wall thing, these guys are going almost 200 miles an hour. And so I don't think at that point, Chase was like, I'm not going to let him off the wall. That's just not who Chase is. I disagree.
Well, why wouldn't he let him off the wall? I mean, had Chase got off the wall, he may have been able to continue in a better position.
Yeah, but why would you do something like that to damage your car in such a track that, aerodynamics play such an important role? You do any damage to your car, you're shot. You're done.
Why would you throw a block with the possibility of getting into a wreck and ruining your chances? He could have just continued. He could have let DiBenedetto go, get that run, and then pass him again, because he did it. Matty D was leading, and then Chase came on the inside lane, passed him, and then that's when Matty D got another run, and he went to go block him. And they could have just raced it out. There was no reason for him to throw that block.
I don't know.
But Chase had no one to help him. He would have fell back. So would you rather possibly lose a chance at winning the race, and you could be like sucked up and fall back to you're in up there in the top 5, and you could fall back outside the top 20.
Chase is a good enough
risk
driver.
The race.
He's a good enough driver to get up there, and he's got help. He's got friends.
It was short.
Besides, if Dale Earnhardt can go from 20th to 1st in 2 to 3 laps, Chase Elliott could have easily gotten back to the lead in 1 lap just by letting Matt DiBenedetto pass him.
I think he was a little bit too aggressive and played too hard and ended up losing because of it.
He was also kind of petty. That whole situation we're talking about where he kept shoving DiBenedetto into the wall, that felt like someone who was like, well, fine, if I'm not going to win, well, I might as well make sure that you don't.
Yeah, I wanted to actually bring that up. That's kind of what I thought, too. He just...
Guys,
how would you feel, Jimmy?
I'm sorry. I think you guys... Look, you're going to blame him, but I do not think it was premeditated to the point where he's like, I'm going to take this guy out. That's just not who Chase is. You can have your opinions of whoever, but that's...
Then you need to
I don't think any of us are saying that it was premeditated and that he was going to
Did you not just listen to what they were just saying?
Well, no.
Afterwards, he's like...
Because afterwards, he pinned him. You're going to tell me he couldn't turn his steering wheel to the left a bit to get off of Matty D?
Off. Chase kind of bounced off when he got off the wall.
I get that they're going
and
really
then went
fast.
back on the Benedetto.
Again, do you guys realize how fast these cars are going?
I get they're going really fast, but you're going to tell me they don't know how to control their cars at high speeds? This is what they do for a living.
Of course they do. But again, you're saying that I just don't think Chase was in the wrong. That's just it. But 3 of you guys do. Johan and I are in the minority on this
I mean,
one,
you're
so.
not known for being a Matty D fan, so.
Well, Matty D is a hashtag. He was part of the Jimmy Johnson crash a year ago.
All right. Let's move on. So let's wrap up basically what happened. Take us through the last few laps of this race because it was very exciting.
Yeah,
So
stage
then-
3 was very exciting.
So then the green flag drops. Busher and Blaney are out front. Blaney's in front. And then the last lap comes. Suarez, big run. And then, so Suarez got caught up in a wreck earlier and now it's coming back. Has a big run. Kurt's pushing him down the backstretch. Goes low. Kurt doesn't go with him. And this is coming into turn 4. And instead, what Kurt does, turns him into Harvick and everybody crashes. Blaney wins the race in caution. Busher finishes second, but fails inspection. So that means Bubba gets second. And yeah.
Let me just say, I was so excited on that last lap because I thought Daniel Suarez might have made the move of the race because he had a run and he was coming and he had a great pusher in Kurt Busch behind him and they were hooked up. And I didn't think he had a shot to do that. And the run he did on the, obviously we were there. So I saw it on the track. And then we watched the replay and it was even more dramatic because you could see him build up that momentum. And I was just, man, I thought I was like, he's going to do it. Like, this is going to be it. This is going to be the race. And as soon as he makes that move, he gets clipped, spins Kevin Harvick around and then takes out half the field. So unbelievable finish.
That was such a bummer because when we were watching the race, Tony, you got on the radio and said, look at Suarez. And as soon as I look over and I see Suarez making that run, that unbelievable run, I was like, oh my word, I froze. But literally within a split of a second, he was turned into Kevin Harvick. Now, I don't think that Kurt Busch did that intentionally. In fact, if you see him when Suarez goes down, Kurt Busch tries to go down with him, but he just didn't get down. Like, they just did not go down together. And when Kurt Busch came down, he just clipped him in the side in his rear right quarter panel and turned him into Kevin Harvick. So that was extremely disappointing to see that finish because I think it would have been so exciting to see what would have played out had there not been a wreck.
So representing,
I'm happy.
The Suarez shirt
I'm
today.
happy that one of my guys, Ryan Blaney, won. But I really I would have loved to see what would have happened in that last, because that was the last turn. It was in turn 4 and they were coming for the finish line. So yeah, it was one of those that I wish we could just see what would have happened.
All right, boys. So what was your most memorable moment or surprising moment on the track watching this exciting race take place?
Honestly, my most surprising moment was, I don't know what it was because it was just.
What was your most memorable moment?
Well, the crashes.
All the crap. Anyone in particular?
One of my biggest surprises was actually Corey LaJoy up there. I was hoping, it was like, come on, Corey, you're the face of NASCAR. Literally, his face is on his car. And I was hoping he would get it done with his face on his car.
But he didn't. But that was a surprising run. He got taken out late in the race, right? In that last lap.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Giovanni?
I think my most memorable moment was probably just being there because you could feel the energy.
No, we're going to talk about that. I'm talking about the excitement on the track. Like, what happened on the track? What was the most memorable moment for you?
I think the most memorable moment was probably seeing Joey doing so well, like fighting up there up front. And like, I remember even at the start of the race, like as it started, you could see Joey go up and just fall back. And he did that on purpose. And you could tell, but he ended up working his way back up and doing really well in the first 2 stages. It was sad to see him like get taken out, but it was fun. It was a good race, and I think he did really good.
Sebastian, what about you?
I would have to say that ending the overtime finish was, for me, the most memorable part on the track.
For me, it would have to be towards the end there, seeing Daniel Suarez up at the front and Bubba Wallace all up there. So that was really exciting.
So now that Ryan Blaney has won 2 in a row, first time ever he's won multiple races in a year, and now he's won 2 in a row. How much noise do you think he's going to make in the playoffs?
Honestly, well, last year he had mistakes in Darlington, and then it went downhill from there. Got eliminated round of 16. So like he had problems Darlington, and then just went downhill. So I think he's gonna survive the round of 16. He's gonna make it to the round of 12. Or he's gonna make it to the round of 8. He's gonna be a championship 4 contender.
Well, hold on. Let's hold our picks. We're going to do that later. I just wanted to, apparently your answer is he's going to make a lot of noise because I'm hearing you take him all the way through the end. So let's hold off on who you think is going to win the championship. Boys, any of you have any thoughts on Ryan Blaney in the playoffs now that he's gotten hot?
I think it depends because, yeah, he's been doing good, but these are different tracks that we're going to be going to throughout the playoffs. So I think it kind of differentiates the playing field here. I think if Blaney can do good at certain tracks, he might be able to make some noise, but I personally don't think he's going to get too far. I think he'll do well, but I don't know if he's going to get far enough to get to the championship 4.
At least to the round of 12.
Maybe.
He is number 12.
I do think Ryan Blaney could be a strong pick. But I do think he's more of a wild card, like someone I don't think people would expect. Like I have an idea of who people are expecting to win this championship, but I think Blaney could be that wild card that throws it all off.
I'll have to agree with Sebastian. I think he's going to go pretty far. He's on fire, and he might be surprising a lot of people.
All right. Well, we'll see how it plays out. All right. So, of course, we said that this was a really exciting week for us because not only did we get to see the race, but we had a really awesome above and beyond experience. Something that I think is, once in a lifetime deal for us, the way everything kind of flowed out. So who wants to kind of take our audience through what our Saturday was like this weekend at Daytona?
Honestly, it was amazing. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. And we actually got to meet like some famous people during stage 2. It was very fun. I loved the experience. We got to come here what time was it when we got at the track?
I think we got there around 2:00, and we went there early because we got interviewed by Estrella TV of Orlando.
Yep.
And we got interviewed multiple times, and
We got to go down to the haulers.
yeah, and later there were some NASCAR people that were just there to film what we did at the track.
Yeah, continuing on with that, we did multiple interviews. In fact, we also got to get interviewed by I Am Athlete, right?
Yeah. Who from I Am Athlete did we beat?
Brandon Marshall, who is an ex-UCF Knight and a Chicago Bear football player, and he was
drafted by the Broncos, and then he played for the Bears. I think I looked it up, and I didn't realize this. I knew he was a great Bear, but considered one of the top 100 Chicago Bears of all time, which says a lot because the Bears are one of the oldest and most established NFL teams. So they've had some great players. So anyway, unbelievable talent and Pro Bowler.
The Bears were actually one of the 2 teams, and only 2 teams have been around for all of the years in the NFL. The Chicago Cardinals and the Decatur Staleys, which was the Chicago Bears and the Arizona Cardinals.
There you go with your stats, which comes into play because
Johan ended up getting to talk with him and have a really cool interview. It was pretty cool seeing the 2 connect and talk about NASCAR. Johan hit it off with him, and they had a really nice interview. It was really good.
I think it was because of Johan we missed most of stage 2 because him and Brandon hit it off so well.
Yeah, Johan was schooling him on NASCAR, and he was like, "Yeah, you got to teach me. You gotta, fill me in on all the NASCAR knowledge you have."
I think everybody was amazed at how much you knew about NASCAR.
So afterwards, after the interview, we got to take a picture with him, which was pretty cool. And afterwards, when we were about to head back to our seats, we had the wonderful opportunity to meet the NASCAR president, the actual president of NASCAR.
Steve Phelps.
Yeah, we got to talk with him, take a picture with him. It was really cool getting to see him, and it was honestly just such an honor.
Johan, how did you feel about that? What was it that you said?
It was on my bucket list. I always wanted to see the president of NASCAR.
And of course, we took the opportunity to tell him about our podcast and the fact that, our mission for the podcast is to bring our NASCAR to new audiences. And so he was very happy and excited to hear about that and told him about our day. So it was really, really cool for him to take a minute. I mean, the race was happening. So we had TVs all around us and we were like, okay, we need to go back to our
seats. And then during our interview, literally like Bowman and Armarola go arounds. It was during stage 2 because we missed like most of stage 2.
Yeah. Well, we saw it, but we didn't get to see it.
We
from
saw it
our
on
scenes, and there are parts of it, we did miss because we were up there with them.
Yeah, and we did get to see what the suites look like.
Yeah, those suites are nice. I can't believe those things exist. I kind of want to watch a race there and just enjoy it.
Suite life is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought what was cool was the fact that we were at the 6th level. I didn't even know it went that high. And we actually went through the Tri-Oval Club as well as the Rolex Club just to get there. And there was actually this beautiful chandelier that is actually all of the tracks that NASCAR owns. And so we got to see that and just, again, it was really cool to be up there and to meet these important people and people that are just genuinely excited about the sport. And of course, NASCAR president Steve Phelps. So that was actually really, really cool.
One of the exciting things for me was we were able to get VIP passes that let us get into like the back of pit row where the haulers are, and we were able to go down there and see some of the we saw some of the drivers. Before we got down there, we saw Matt DiBenedetto, and the boys called out to him and he waved. And then while we were down there, we saw
Busher.
Oh yeah, Chris Busher was there.
Larson passed by.
Austin
Dillon passed
Dillon.
by.
Who else?
We saw Richard Childress.
Cole Custer. Oh, Richard Childers. I think I saw Greg Zipadelli. I'm pretty sure I did.
Who's that? Greg Zipadelli.
He used to be Tony Stewart's crew chief. And now he works for Stewart Haas. But we got to see some people like up close. It was like, to me, that was one of the most exciting things. And then the other exciting thing for me was seeing the cars going through inspection. So just recently, Johan has been watching when they go into like the inspection tent on YouTube. So it was really neat to see the process. So the cars were lined up on the side. They'd had to go into like this garage thing where they measured the spoiler and some of the other things. After they came out of that, they whipped around and went into that tent where they put like these round things on the windshield and then on the tires, and they go through there and they go do their inspection, and then the team drives them out. So that was like super exciting for me to see. That was quite an experience. I'm so excited we got to do that. It's the first time that I've ever been that close up to anybody in NASCAR, pit crew guys, owners, race car drivers. The only thing that I was a little bit sad about is that we didn't get to see any of our favorite drivers up close. I was hoping that Daniel Suarez, would make an appearance, and Joey Logano. He apparently came out a little bit before we got
Gio
down.
had it, salt rubbed in the wound because we're kind of looking, maybe we'll see him, and then this guy's like, "Yo, Joey Logano fan."
He just went by and he autographed my VIP lanyard. And
After hearing that, I genuinely got depressed. I was like, all this time, I've been waiting.
Well, but hopefully
and I missed it by 15 minutes.
Hopefully it's not the first or last time that we get to go down there, and maybe next time we will be able to see some of our drivers and, get pictures and autographs with them. So yeah, wonderful experience.
And what's also cool, the drivers have their hero cars, which you guys grabbed a couple.
Yeah, Johan, I believe, got all of the Hendrick ones.
I didn't get Byron. I just want to go back to I just want to drive back to Daytona. Can I get a Byron hero card? Oh, sure, take one. And then I'm just going to drive back home.
Yeah, I got a Joey Logano one. It was pretty cool.
Sebastian, did you grab any?
There was nothing for Kyle Busch.
Oh, because you know what? We didn't go. That's the other thing. Because we had, some commitments with NASCAR and they wanted to, record us and all that. We didn't get to spend the entire time in the garage. And so the section we were at, I didn't see Kyle Busch's trailer or hero cards. I don't think it was in that area.
No, I don't think it was in that area. We did get to see some of the cars up close that were in the garage, like in the back in the garage. Like Giovanni took a picture with Joey. Like we were up close to his car. We were like up close to the tires. We saw the whose tires were they? It was the Stuart Haas, but I don't remember. It was Eric Armarola's tires were all there. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. It was really neat experience to be up close and personal with everything NASCAR down there.
All right, so now I'm going to ask you, what was your most memorable moment for you this weekend? Starting with Gio.
I think just being there and getting to go into the infield and all of the special areas with the VIP passes, going up into the Trioval Club and even the suites was really cool. But I think my favorite thing was just the excitement, the raw excitement you could feel in the stands when you're just standing there and sitting watching the race. You can feel the rumble of the cars as they just fly past you, and you can hear the roars and the excitement. It's a really cool experience.
Johan?
Honestly, mine was like actually getting to see the suites, and then we actually got to see what like Steve Letarte, Dale Jr., and all those guys like are like, and it was so cool. And then talking to Brandon Marshall, seeing Steve Phelps, and then it's got to be like also like getting to go down right there by the haulers and getting the VIP passes, because I remember we got like the UF fan zone thing, but I saw like I saw we couldn't go to like the haulers, and I was like, man, I wish we could go to the haulers.
You're talking about years past when we've gone to the fan zone.
Yep, and that's a dream come true.
Yeah, it was. Sebastian?
I definitely have to say the lounge was really great. I know we've all said it, but like I've never experienced something like that at a NASCAR track. It was nice. I want to go back again.
For me, I think it was the opportunity that we were given to feel like VIPs, to feel special, to have the opportunity to go down to be up and close to the NASCAR drivers and all the crew, and then to be able to meet Brandon Marshall and the president of NASCAR. Like, that's not something that happens all the time, to regular folks like us. So that was really feeling special was my favorite part. So what about you, Tony?
So for me, honestly, I think it was two things. I know I'm kind of cheating. It wasn't just one. The first was earlier in the day, watching your mom holding court, it being interviewed about NASCAR and why NASCAR is so important to our family, and doing it in Spanish. I mean, we've talked about that my Spanish isn't the greatest. I probably could practice a little bit more, but your mom, that was her first language. And to just see her just talk about NASCAR and to a new audience, hopefully, I thought that was like super cool. And to do that in Daytona was awesome. Then the second, I think, was honestly, Johan, it was watching you hold court with Brandon Marshall. I mean, you had cameras. That was the other thing too. Like, you had two cameras, one pointed at him, one pointed at you. And you guys just had a conversation like the cameras weren't even there, which is actually the coolest part of it. And you guys had like a real conversation. Like, in all honesty, like I can say what you and Brandon did, if we didn't have any cameras there, you guys probably would have had the same conversation. Like, he was genuinely interested, it seemed to us, in what you had to say. And you were interested in talking to him about it. And just as excited to hold court with him. So I was super proud of seeing all of you guys. But I think those two moments kind of crystallized for me why this was such an awesome experience for us. So, all right. I think that was our unbelievable Coke Zero 400 experience.
I have one more thing to say. I actually got to drink something from my suite.
Yeah, you did, right? They were kind enough to ask us when we want anything, and I think you had a Sprite. And I actually joked about it during the interview. You were like drinking the Sprite like the drivers do.
If you want to see any of our experience, I'll make sure to edit the vlog that we were working on, and hopefully that can be up within a few weeks. I'll try my best.
Yeah, you do have school, so you got to manage that and everything else you got going on. But yes, you had said you're going to take that on, so I'm excited for you to do that and actually learn. That's also part of why we're doing this podcast, to learn kind of new things. And you'll learn how to create a vlog with all the content we created. So yeah, we got a lot of great video. I'm hoping to maybe even I'll do a couple of TikTok videos. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So with that, I think it's time to talk about where we're going next week.
Well, we're not going.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Where is NASCAR going next week?
Next week, the playoff begins. The first race of 10 is at Darlington Raceway for the Cookout Southern 500. So, Darlington is going to be the first race of the playoffs. What do you guys think about that?
Honestly, I really like it. I'm excited. Darlington's a fun track, and so even though we already have throwback weekend for the Goodyear 400, we're gonna still have throwbacks from last week.
So there's no practice or qualifying for this race. And this is the second Darlington race of the year. This is also Labor Day weekend, so it's the Labor Day weekend race.
And
That's
it's
always
also
fun.
going to be Gio's birthday.
That's right. It's Gio's birthday the day after Darlington.
Yep, I'm gonna be 14 next time we do a podcast episode.
Yay! Clap, clap, clap. By the way, if you want to sing him a song before he turns 14, sing it now.
I don't know if we're doing any singing on this one. All right. So now let's get into our race picks.
It's the Let's Go Racing Picks of the Week.
All right. So it's time to make our picks for Darlington, the second race at Darlington this year. Karen, since you have been leading this entire season, you get to make the pick first. Who do you have winning at Darlington?
Ooh, at Darlington, who am I going to pick? I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to pick Kyle Busch to win at Darlington and punch his way into the next round.
Kyle Busch. Well, you know what's appropriate? Sebastian actually tied me this week, and that means you're going second. So Mr. Kyle Busch himself, who are you picking? Unfortunately, can't be Kyle Busch to win in Darlington.
Well, I'm going to go with the other Kyle. Kyle Larson is going to be my pick.
Kyle Larson. All right. I think that means that I'm next. And so you know what? I didn't give this one enough thought. But I think I'm going to go with another Penske driver that, they've been doing well. I think Brad Keselowski is going to take home a victory in Darlington and move on to the next level in the playoffs. Giovanni?
Short, sweet, and easy. Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin, can't argue with that. Although it would be a big win for him. It would be win number 1 after 27 races, which is unheard of that has taken him this long to win. All right, Johan, who do you have winning?
All right, so last time I picked Brad Keselowski. Finish up outside the top 20. Brad, you think I'm going to redeem you? No, I'm not. So I'm going to pick his teammate. So it's going to be a number 2, but added 1. Let's go, Ryan Blaney to win 3 in a row.
Wow, Ryan Blaney. All right, if that happens, he has got to be the favorite to win NASCAR's championship, which is a pretty tall order. All right, those are our picks for Darlington this weekend. The Cookout
Southern
500.
500.
I want to make sure I got that right. So yeah, Darlington. All right, so we're going to make our championship picks as well. We had actually a friend of the family and a longtime listener to the podcast who actually saw at the track. It was crazy, too. The little crazy story. We actually didn't talk about where our seats were going to be. I knew he was going to be there because he's always there, and a couple of other friends of ours that are always at the track. And we actually ended up buying seats on the other side of start finish. Usually we're on the back side, kind of looking down towards start finish line. So we were in different seats. We're walking up to our section. And again, as we talked about earlier, we had the NASCAR productions team kind of following us up and whatnot. So I'm kind of thinking about that. And I hear my name. Someone's like, Tony. And I'm thinking, okay, nobody knows me. I mean, the NASCAR folks were with us, but like no one else that I was talking about. I look up and there's my friend Matt and a couple of other guys. So it was, It was crazy to see, and then we all ended up getting seats like literally a couple rows away from each other. So anyway, he had a great idea, which was for us to make our race pick for the championship. So we're going to lock it in. So whoever we say wins a championship, that's it. We're not adjusting. So if that guy doesn't make it to the next round, then we're done. So so Mom and I was talking about how we're going to do this. We didn't want to kind of influence each other. So everybody had to have in their mind who they thought was going to win the championship. So we're going to start with our leader of race picks, which is Mom. She's going to go first. And then we'll actually go down the line, Sebastian, Johan, and then Giovanni.
Okay.
So go with Mom.
So like Tony said, we previously picked without anybody knowing. So this isn't influenced by anybody. And we didn't like decide on, by seeing each other. So this is all on our own. And so, as Sebastian mentioned earlier, I'm going with a wild card. And I think since he's on fire, I think he might surprise everybody and knock the favorites out. I'm going with Ryan Blaney to win the championship.
I knew it. All right. I was supposed to go last. That's who I actually picked too. I did not think that's who Mom was going to pick.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest.
But
one of my
then
picks.
again, she is wearing a Ryan Blaney shirt. So, okay. All right. So let's go. So that's who I had down to. I think I got to pick somebody else. So I'm going to let the boys go and then I'll pick somebody else. All right. Sebastian.
For me, I picked Kyle Larson. Not only has he probably been the strongest driver this season, I think he's got the most wins. And if he keeps that up, he's definitely going to Phoenix and winning that championship. So Kyle Larson for me.
All right. I next time you got to use bigger ink because I don't think the cameras picked that up. But all right, yeah. Kyle Larson. Johan.
Honestly, so think about the Hendricks. So Kyle Larson's taken. And then Alex Bowman has 3 wins. Chase Elliott is the defending Cup champion. But you're forgetting one driver, that number 24. He only has 2 career wins, but I think he may be a champion this year. Let's go William Byron.
Wow, William Byron. Whoa,
you went with William Byron.
That's that would be a surprising champion. Johan. That's not who I would have thought you would have picked. All right. Giovanni?
This pick's going to seem a little bit obvious. But I think it's going to be Joey Logano. I think he's got a good shot. I think he's been a little bit shy this season, but I think he's going to pick something up in the playoffs and potentially pull off a second championship.
I would not be surprised if he does that. The year he won his championship, he had better years prior, and you thought, that's why it was so disappointing he didn't win.
He only received 3 wins in 2018, which is the season he won his championship.
And yet
he had 1 win.
He won the wins he had to win to get into the race, to the championship, and then he won the championship race.
He only had 1 win coming into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it really does show. Maybe you might not have the best amount of wins, but you may be the one to do it.
Yeah. You just got to know, you got to do it at the right time. So, all right. I actually had Ryan Blaney down, but I'm going to have to pick somebody different. Otherwise, you and I are going to end up, which, by the way, we're going to get 25 bonus points for whoever wins. And that will determine, in addition to whatever our championship points are for our race picks. So here's the deal. I had Ryan Blaney, but if it's okay, I'm going to pick another guy.
That's fine. If you want to pick another guy or keep Blaney, that's fine.
So I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. And here's why. He hasn't won yet. But he's had a great year. If this was old school NASCAR, he would be, I think he's like second. He would be a second in points coming out of the regular season. And he has been consistently knocking on the door. So yes, he hasn't had a great year. Like Kevin Harvick hasn't had a great year, but Kevin Harvick hasn't been consistently near the front.
How did he lock himself in the playoffs?
Who?
Points.
Harvick.
He hasn't had a great year by his standards, but he's had a really good year. He's a decent year. And so that's why, he had the, most points out of the drivers that that didn't actually win. But I think Denny Hamlin is going to do it. I think that's the one thing he needs for his Hall of Fame career. And again, it's not like he's going to retire anytime soon, but I do think the man has won everything. He knows when to put it on, and he's in the playoffs. And I think that team is going to surprise a lot of people. And it's going to remind a lot of people, like Tony Stewart, the year he won his first championship with Haas. because he came into the playoffs, and I don't think he had won anything, but he made the playoffs, or he may have won like once. But then he got hot, and he won like 5 out of the 10 races in the playoffs, and ended up winning the championship.
I think that was 2011 because 2002 didn't have the playoff format yet.
It wasn't his first championship; it was his second one.
Third.
So that's what I think is going to happen. I don't know if Danny Hamlin's going to win 5, but I do think he's going to get some wins. He's not going to go this year without a win. And if you win in the playoffs, you're guaranteed to go to the next round. So we'll see how that goes.
Well,
all right.
Honestly, so between Harvick, Hamlin, and Chase wins last year, they had 21 in total. This year, only 2.
And who are those 2?
Chase Elliott.
There you go.
I'm honestly surprised nobody picked Elliott or Kurt Busch.
Yeah, especially Chase Elliott's your favorite driver. What's going on? And Kyle Busch. All right, so just so you know, my mom and I wrote down who I thought everyone was going to pick. And I thought Mom was going to pick Kyle Larson because he's like the hottest driver right now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought each of you were going to pick your favorite drivers. And it would have been wrong, and it would have been strong picks. You would have had Kyle Busch, Sebastian, Kyle Busch. You would have had Chase Elliott, and then you would have had Joey Logano. But that's not how you guys picked it. So anyway, all right. This was our show. So exciting. Again, we're still kind of finding our way with YouTube and doing this video. It's another level of complexity we haven't done before. So anyway, but we enjoyed it. I think it's actually kind of cool. So hopefully this one comes together this week. And like Giovanni has promised us, he's going to get us some vlog video of our experience to show you some of the cool access that we had this past weekend.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, famous last words. All right, with that, Giovanni, why don't you take us out?
That's going to wrap up this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching on in. Consider subscribing, checking out all of our socials, and downloading our podcast episode. Let's Go Racing Family, out.